Alright, so I wanted to record a video to talk about the Christmas ornament I designed for the 430 website. It's just a real simple MSP430. It uses the MSP430 G2452, which is the extra chip that comes with the MSP430G launchpad. I'll just show you guys a couple things. It's just a pretty simple layout. Most of the components are through hole with the exception of the battery connectors. It does have two spots, but it only requires one. If you look at the one that I've got, it's only got one battery. Two will allow it to run longer, but honestly, you know, with the lower power for the MSP430, it's not really a big deal unless you're actually using it a lot. From the board design, there are two little capacitive touch buttons on here, left and right hand side. It's based off of Texas Instruments, information on laying out capacitive touch buttons. It's got a ground layer underneath. There's the isolation that they suggest. It is a direct touch, not a proximity sensing. And again, real simple layout, just a bunch of LEDs, a couple capacitors, pull-up resistor for the reset line, and it does also have some prototyping holes. So the extra pins that I wasn't using for the LEDs were all broken out to these prototyping holes here, these four and these four, and there are some extra holes as well just for extra parts, and there are ground and VCC connectors as well, so you can power extra components from those if needed. Right now the code that I've got designed supports a piezo speaker for music. So you can actually use a piezo, or I've also got this one that uses just a little mini speaker from a toy. I'm sure you can find them on eBay. And just to go over what the code I've got right now, right now it's only listening to the left capacitive button. It's using Texas Instruments capacitive library, and the more you monitor, obviously the more electricity it takes. So if you touch the left hand button, it goes into a more active state and starts monitoring both the left and right button. Hitting the left button activates a mode where it just occasionally turns on an LED. It stays awake for 10 seconds. The capacitive sensing, it happens twice a second. So I switch LEDs once a second. During that waking state, if you touch the right hand button, you'll see the extra functionality programmed in. It's using some code that was found on the 430 forums for some RTTL translation, which is the old school ringtones for old cell phones. And the LEDs, it just randomly sets an LED every time it changes a note, so it kind of plays along with the music. And then it goes back through the 10 seconds of awake state, and then if nothing happens, it goes into a deep sleep. And just checks twice a second for any changes in capacitive touch. I've got it set right now so it's not very sensitive on purpose, so you can handle around the edges and stuff like that. It needs a pretty decent change in the capacitance value to actually detect a touch. And that's also to avoid some issues where LEDs turn on close to it and it changes values. I had a problem with that on the Launchpad when I was initially prototyping it. So there's 7 LEDs, a few resistors, and that's pretty much it. So I'll be posting lots of information on the forums and the code, so you can follow me at 430.com.